What's up, Scyushi Squad? We are back in some more Trove, and this is going to end up being, again, a more traditional Let's Play episode, as I promised you guys with the unboxing video the other day. You guys weren't super excited about unboxing Chaos Chest, were you? I mean, I totally get it, especially just with the context of the video and stuff. I realized afterwards, it was like, dang, dude, I must have been pretty stressed out if I was, I don't know, kind of whining or complaining or whatever, for lack of a better word. But anyways, I thought that today we would, you know, we're going to do some U11, obviously, but we're also going to end up detoxing and kind of relaxing together while I go through some of the comments that I got on that video with you guys. Like, I haven't read any of the comments yet because I like having a genuine, like, kind of reaction right off the bat type of thing. For those of you that don't know, like when I ended up doing my Chaos Chest unboxing video, I guess I should explain some context. I was kind of just opening up and talking about like things that were going on for me recently, and talking about like the consistency of Trove on the channel, and basically how I've kind of been overworking myself, specifically because of today's sponsor, Game Ago. So for those of you that don't know, how could you not? I've been talking about it for weeks. There's going to end up being a Trove cosplay contest. So I'll put a link in the description to the site that has more details, as well as a link to this PDF face where you have to download it, print it out, craft it yourself. Hopefully better than me, because mine's not in color and these ears are actually supposed to be on the face, but hey, whatever. Then you record yourself out in public wearing the mask and upload that to TikTok with the hashtag Trove cosplay, hashtag gaming, and hashtag cosplay. By doing so, you're already participating in the contest, which means that you'll end up getting a sundered cash in-game, which is awesome. Not a great reward, but maybe somebody will end up getting something super duper lucky out of it, right? Second place is going to end up being a video chosen by a jury of Game Ago employees and influencers. Apparently I'm on that influencer list. I don't know if there's anybody else on it or whatever, but either way, it should be fun. And they're going to end up winning 1,000 euros, which is absolutely insane, with the first place video being the video that has the most likes, and they're also going to win 1,000 euros. I already have my own TikTok video up that is probably the most beautifully cringe video I've ever made, so I'd recommend you guys check it out. I got a link in the description. Also, don't forget to like that video, because yes, I am in the contest. But you should act fast, because this month is flying by, and you gotta have your uploads by August 28th, with the winners being announced September 16th. Thank you, Game Ago, for sponsor this video. Now, the other thing too is I want you guys to upload TikTok clips in general about the Trove cosplay, even if you're not necessarily interested in the contest, because I'm going to do a reaction video to those TikTok videos. You guys like that seamless transition? Okay, so let me go to the comment section right here and just see. So there's most of you guys were very, very supportive, which I really you know, I'm very appreciative of. You know, like I always I guess I should explain a little bit of my philosophy behind YouTube in the first place. So with doing YouTube videos, I try my best to, you know, I'll include you guys in personal stuff. I'm not against that, but generally speaking, my goal with these videos is to not focus on any of the negatives that go on with real life, because I feel like everybody deals with those problems, and thus there's not much justification for me to use this platform as an outlet for my own crap that's going on, because everybody's dealing with this, right? You know, it's like, this is the judgments that I have towards myself, is when I start talking about these things in a YouTube video, I just think from the viewer side of things, I would just think, yeah, so we all got problems, bro, you know? And so I'm very, very reluctant to talk about like negative emotions or feelings and stuff that, you know, I'm happen to be going through. And then I always, you know, in the light chance that I end up actually talking about it, you guys are always just so positive and receptive of it that I just remind myself, oh, right, you guys are fine with this, you know? Not that I'm going to complain about it in the first place, because generally speaking, my main goal with these videos is a positive experience, you know? It's almost like I want to distract you guys from the crap that you're dealing with, you know, because everybody's got that stuff. So anyways, I wanted to take a couple comments here. So Mystery IB says, I can completely understand how you can get burnt out and stressed out with all the finance stuff, and it's a shame that a lot of viewers don't really watch other games that you play. But I think that if you do what makes you happy, there will always be people that can enjoy the content you create. Thank you. I very much appreciate that, like, wholeheartedly. This right here summarizes my philosophy with how I've been doing YouTube for the past year. So for those of you that don't know, I made a conscious decision. It was basically my New Year's resolution, maybe even like 2 years ago now, where I wanted to, you know, I had a very difficult decision of, okay, there's a fine line between doing content that I love and doing content that makes me money, which I don't want to get too into it because it's not like I'm doing YouTube for money necessarily, but there's a way that the human mind works where we chase what we lack. And, you know, I've always been poor since I was growing up and stuff. You know, we ended up having very full, fulfilling lives, but we never really had excess, you know? And so I'm already just grateful enough that I can end up making a full-time living from doing my YouTube videos, because gaming is not only my addiction, but it's also my passion. And through it, I've also found an addiction to people, you know, like interacting with you guys and talking with you guys and, you know, bolstering this community that we've slowly created over time is just something that's so precious to me. You have no idea, you know, like I consider you guys to be like my second family, basically, which I know might sound strange, you know, especially if you're just tuning into the channel and stuff, but I'm just trying to get it out there that I just love people. And if you guys are willing to open up and connect and join the community and be a part of this, I will do my absolute best to reciprocate that, you know? So anyways, the long story short, the point that I'm trying to get at is the human mind, or at least my mind, works in such a way where it can get very, very addicting chasing numbers. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers and content creators can get stuck chasing those numbers, because if you start doing like clickbait videos and stuff that you notice starts getting more views, that directly is going to have an influence on your finances, and thus it's going to end up making your brain associate that with a positive thing. However, I would argue that it's not good for your soul, you know, like it's one of those things where it's very, very self-defeating in a way to focus on just the numbers, because then you're not doing things, you know, eventually it gets to the point where you're not doing things that you enjoy, you're doing things because you know they work. And a couple years ago, that's what happened to me. My channel was kind of going in that direction, and I was very, very unhappy. And, you know, whether it be, you know, I have a hard time tracking down the specific time frame of it. You know, I know that a couple years ago, I started to focus more on like live streams and stuff like that. But I think that this year in particular, I was really honing in on, okay, do what makes you happy and let's see what happens, right? Like it basically, 2 years ago, I kind of just dumped all of that stuff, you know, dumped all the chasing of the numbers and started focusing on doing what I loved. But I still had a lot of hiccups around it all and didn't really know, okay, well, what is it that I want, right? And I feel like this year I really have dialed into myself and have been able to find a very fine line and combination of being able to do you know, the videos that I enjoy, yes, but also the videos that do well on the platform, which, you know, because it's like that's always going to be a thing. You know, you'd be stupid to say, oh, I'm just gonna do 100% the content that I enjoy, because for me personally, like I'm gonna admit something to you guys. I don't really have a natural knack for the YouTube platform. Okay, like I'm pretty dumb when it comes to these types of things. I don't use the YouTube algorithm. I don't know any of that stuff. You know, I don't know the math behind the YouTube and all that junk. Oh, excuse me. I basically just am a blue collar, you know, grind it out, like what do you call it, Sigma grind set, right? Like I literally just nonstop oh, I'm just gonna keep doing this, you know, and hope that one day it works. Basically, you know, I have that internal conversation with myself anytime like a new game comes out that I'm really enjoying it, where it's like, okay, here's the question. Am I going to be able to play this game for a long enough period of time that people start, you know, that I start showing up in the search algorithm, basically, right? Because that's what happens with Trove. Trove is the one game that most of you guys come on the channel for, and I totally get that, because I basically view, you know, YouTube or the internet, let's just consider it a big giant ocean, right? And by putting out more and more content on a specific topic, it's basically putting out a big net, right? Which, you know, the fishing analogy, because clickbait, you know, fish, catching views, blah, blah, blah. But with Trove, it's like, I've got the biggest net, you know, because I've got like, what, 4,000 or 5,000 Trove videos, so you can't really look anything up about this game without stumbling upon me, right? That doesn't happen with most of the other games that I play, and that's why those videos unfortunately get a lot less views, despite the fact that they're at the same fidelity as my Trove videos, you know, like I'm still the same guy. And that's where I, you know, in the past I might be, I don't know, like I know that there was a point in time where I would struggle with getting very, very frustrated, like, why aren't you guys watching my other videos, kind of thing. Now it's like, I don't bother blaming you guys, because obviously that's not really something that I can control. And at the end of the day, I think it was more so like blaming you guys so that I didn't have to look at myself and didn't have to be like, oh, well, maybe this is just something that people aren't interested in. And then coming to terms with that and being okay with that, and just being like, you know what? I don't care if people aren't watching my other videos as much. I want to do this, you know? That's the part where it's for me. You know, Trove very much so is still to this day my favorite video game. There's just something about it, the action combat, the way that we can all play together so easily. Like, look at this, you guys just following me around casually. I didn't invite you, I didn't ask, you guys are just here. And that's what I love about this game, is that it's just so approachable. I have yet to find another game that I can play for such a long period of time on the channel, or I would. It's just there hasn't really been any reason to, you know. Anyways, sorry that I got a little distracted there, but I get very passionate about, you know, I'm passionate about YouTube, I'm passionate about games, I'm passionate about Trove and stuff. So it just, I feel like in a lot of ways I have to explain myself very thoroughly, because people end up having a lot of misunderstandings, and somebody might just pop into this video and just be like, oh, this guy's he's just doing it for the money, kind of thing. It's a consistent problem that a lot of content creators deal with, is that YouTube is still not really justified as being a full-time job. And it's very difficult to explain the stress that comes with this type of a career choice, because from your guys' perspective, you just see me playing video games. You know, and granted, there is that side of it. I've seen a lot of channels that you can tell barely put any effort into their videos, or barely have any of their personality in the videos. You know, a big criticism would be like look at Fortnite, for example. That's a prime example of a video game that lots of people play because of the views and because of the money that it gets them, rather than actually being fully engrossed in, like, you know, gaming culture. Like there's these videos that have been going around lately. My buddies ended up showing me in the Discord, where we've got like this Dragon Ball event going on in Fortnite, right? And there's these content creators that are mispronouncing Kamehameha.
New Dragon Ball Mythic in Fortnite 10 times stronger. So we all know the Kamehameha is over.
It gets worse.
This player tried to Kamehameha me.
I assume they're just, they've never watched the anime, they have nothing, they have no experience with it, because they don't care. That's not their culture. They're not into anime, they're not into games. They're basically like a normal person that just saw the money of Fortnite videos and honed in on it, you know? And I'm not trying to like call anybody out or anything like that, and I don't really care one way or another if that's what these people are doing. All the power to them, go for it. They've probably got a huge bank account versus me, where I'm trying to blur the lines between doing something that I'm passionate about and it being a grindy job. I don't know how to put it. Anyways, let's read some of the error comments here. So there was Daryl saying, not on my Chaos Chess video, not a lot of YouTubers are not sometimes honest. So let's say if you took a break, we would know and understand and also love the video. So this is another thing that I've seen you guys mention a few times, and I can understand. Like this is where I probably explained it poorly. Because that's another big common conception that comes around is, why don't you just take a break? I have no desire to. This is not only my stress relief, but it's just something that I absolutely love doing. You know, like I have my dream job. There's a couple things that I would like to change about it. But generally speaking, I feel like I have no right to complain. And that's why I have a difficult time expressing myself when talking about negative emotions, because I don't know how far I can take it with you guys. You know, because I know that there's those of you that have been on the channel for years and you guys understand a lot about me and my person. But then there's the new people that come around and they don't really understand like where I'm coming from or what I'm talking about and stuff. So I'm hoping that in this video, I'm getting a little bit more to the point with that and you guys can understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, anyways, I wanted to double check if there was any other comments. I mean, a couple of these are just you guys talking about, it's just a couple, you know, requests for games and stuff like that and whatever else. So the other thing that I did end up asking you guys, more specifically what I wanted in that video rather than the supportive comments, was some video ideas. And I see that you guys had some pretty good ideas that I'm definitely going to end up grabbing. You know, one of you guys mentioned about favorite styles for classes or something related to how different classes look. That would be nice, which I'm all about fashion, you know, the fashion souls, fashion Trove. I could get behind that. Generally speaking, you know, you guys had some good solid ideas that I'm going to end up taking from that. And anyways, I just wanted to take the moment to share my appreciation for the positive comments, because all those other ones that have video ideas, those I'm just gonna write down. We don't need to necessarily address those today. Now that said, there is something else that I really did want to end up addressing today, which was a Q&A. So I ended up having a post on my community, you know, community part of YouTube. I know it's really hidden. YouTube does a really poor job of giving you guys notifications and all that stuff, and it's really just, it makes my job very frustrating, because I would love to be able to just take all of your feedback and take all your comments a little bit, you know, a little bit more streamlined for me, but unfortunately that's just not how it is. And with that, there's the YouTube community posts, where I try to use that to the best of my ability, but a lot of times you guys just don't see things on there and so on and so forth, right? So one of the things that I ended up asking you guys is, I basically was saying how, since we recently ended up hitting 200K subscribers, I wanted to do a Q&A. I felt like it was time. And frankly speaking, I could wait to actually answer the questions, because I could give you guys the opportunity to end up asking more of your questions. But frankly speaking, I don't think that YouTube notified a lot of you guys about that post in the first place. So today is going to end up being a double feature. You know, you guys get to hear all of this stuff that I'm talking about personally, but we're also going to end up getting into the Q&A, so that any of you new guys with the channel, or even existing people with the channel, can end up getting answers to some of your common questions. Now that said, I think that this is something that I also dabbled in and talked about in my Chaos Chess video. I think that with these Let's Play videos in particular, I think that we should always dedicate a section to me responding to some of your guys' comments, because it's very difficult for me. I still read your guys' comments, but it's very difficult for me to pick and choose comments to respond to. And even then, often I'll end up checking comments on a video the day that it goes up, and then I kind of have to move on to the next video. And so I feel like by doing these Let's Play videos, which are obviously, you know, days apart, it gives me the opportunity to you know, look at your guys' comments a day or two later, right? So I think that that's going to end up being really nice iteration to these Trove Let's Play videos and stuff, because yeah, we finally just kind of brought the Let's Play videos back, and I should probably tag them with like the proper episode number and stuff. But after such a long period of time where I was just doing live streams and stuff, like I consider those part of the Let's Play. And yet here we are. So I don't know, maybe I should have like the next Let's Play episode literally just be like, okay, here's a recap of everything that happened over time. You know, it basically would be like another guide for returning players. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here, so let's get to some of the questions. So I'm noticing that there's 15 comments here. I don't know if I'm going to reply to all of them per se. DJL Production 66 says, working as a YouTuber, what does your schedule look like? Do you try to keep it 8 hours a day like a normal 9 to 5, or do you work more loosely whenever you find the hours to do so? Congrats on hitting 200k subs. I've been watching you for 3 to 4 years. Love you, buddy. And on and off and stuff has been a true journey seeing you grow as a person and content creator. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. So the best part of being self-employed, the best and worst part, is that you can basically work as much as you want. So what I often do, like I have always been the type of person to have a very sporadic schedule. I know that in the past when I've worked 9 to 5 jobs, it was very difficult for me because I've never really stuck to a specific schedule. Yet another reason that YouTube is kind of my dream job is because I can basically work as much or as little as I want. Now that said, I over the years have gotten very, very good at understanding myself, my physicality, my limits basically, right? And so what I often do in terms of my schedule is very, very sporadic. I often will dedicate a very, you know, every day is basically me doing work, doing YouTube, whether it be editing videos, making some thumbnails and stuff. Like for example, yesterday, you know, I ended up having a couple videos already already on the channel. So I had like a grounded video, Tower of Fantasy and stuff. And so what I ended up doing is I knew that I wasn't going to have time to record this specific Trove video because I knew that I needed to have a clean conscience and just have everything nice and clear, a clear head, so that I could explain these things properly, right? And so knowing that, I dedicated my time to the behind the scenes stuff. I made some grounded thumbnails, which that took a few hours because I've been trying to actually make those grounded thumbnails really like. The grounded series has been a very nice experience for me because I'm basically trying to make it the best Let's Play possible. So there was tons and tons of cuts. The Let's Play series is very, very efficient and to the point, and just kind of has like the best moments. It was basically like 13 hours of footage that I was able to cut down to like 5 hours or something for the entire Let's Play, right? And on top of that, you know, on top of the editing style, I've also been trying to make really good thumbnails, and so I've been experimenting with a lot of different programs lately. You know, I don't have Photoshop or anything like that. I should have learned Photoshop years ago, but I never did. And so I've been using these other external programs to crop out scenes or increase the quality. So you might notice even on this thumbnail, my face might look a little too smooth and a little bit weird. That's because I have like one of those AI programs that like upscales the resolution and cleans it all up. And I think that even though it doesn't necessarily look as realistic, it's not necessarily like what my face actually looks like in high def or anything, but it looks really gosh darn good for the thumbnails, right? So anyways, long story short, to answer your question, yesterday, again, it was just behind the scenes and I spent a couple hours doing like thumbnails and stuff like that. Whereas today, I'm probably just gonna solely dedicate my time to this one video, and then maybe I'll end up publishing another grounded video or editing like a multiverses video or something. It's very, very, I have a very, very natural workflow that works with how I work, like how my brain like compartmentalizes things, because I learned a long time ago that as far as I know, I have some very high form of ADHD, which would probably be that would probably explain why normal 9 to 5 jobs were very, very difficult for me. But with YouTube, I can just like keep myself completely overwhelmed with so many different things that I'm thinking about right now. Like, even though I'm having this conversation with you guys, I'm already trying to think about like, okay, well, what should I end up dedicating the rest of my time to? I should probably end up putting up a multiverses video because I haven't had one in a couple days, and you know, so on and so forth. And that's just how my brain works. And so again, in order to answer your question, I basically would just say that I kind of just do what I feel like at the day. And also knowing my limits allows me to know, okay, I've already got these videos all ready for today. I'll just publish these and then take the day off kind of thing, you know? So some days I work like a couple hours. Some days I'm working nonstop all day. I will admit that I am a bit of a workaholic. And so one of the hardest things that I've tried to find balance with doing YouTube is that I will emotionally feel very depressed if I don't put in a certain amount of work. It's very, very difficult for me to justify taking a day off because of the fact that I'm self-employed, and it's kind of like, dude, why aren't you working? You know? Now that said, I feel like that is it's almost like a muscle that I have to exercise to be okay with that. And I've gotten a lot better with that over the years. But anyways, now we're talking about a completely different topic. So anyways, let's move on. Thomas Hoon, probably pronouncing that wrong, says, I was always curious of this in some of your live streams. I hear something along the lines of, it is hot outside, etc. Do you not use air conditioning? Genuine question, promise. Love your work. Thank you very much. No, we don't have air conditioning. So here's the thing. I know that you guys probably give me a lot of slack because I'll admit it's not very hot out here, okay? But when it gets hot, it's like, you know, I have some of my friends even tease me. It's like, bro, what do you mean it's hot out there? But it's like, you know, for me, like, I'm still sweating. Like, it's still very, very humid and very, very hot, right? But we can't justify getting air conditioning because that heat wave that we ended up having would last like maybe a week or two. And now already, like, it's fine. It's actually a little bit chilly. You know, so there's not really any justification for it. There was like a massive heat wave a couple years ago, and that was where I really considered air conditioning, not for myself, but most of all because the dogs could barely handle how hot it was. However, this year, even though I'm complaining about it, it really wasn't that bad. It's just that, you know when you end up getting all sweaty and stuff, and it's like the last thing that you want to do is work, right? The last thing you want to do is anything. You just want to lay on the floor and like just wait for the sweet embrace of the coldness of death. So there's the answer to that question. So XI Divinity IX says, what helps you keep on YouTube? I remember coming across you when I was a wee lad, and now I'm on my way to college. So congrats on the crispy 200K. Hope to see more in the future. My God, I'm old. I've been doing this for such a gosh darn long time, dude. What keeps me on the platform, you mean? I mean, honestly, like, so it's kind of at the point right now where I just couldn't do anything else, you know, like this is my job. I'm still very, very happy with it. It's still a very gratifying work, you know, because I can always challenge myself to do something different. And for me, it's like, you know, you could view, okay, well, you're still just playing the same game over and over. You know, I guess I would let's take Trove as my philosophy to explain this question. So why do I keep playing Trove for as long as I've been playing? It can go hand in hand with the question of how come I keep doing YouTube? Because it's always different. So even though you might see, you know, from your perspective, you might just see, oh, he's just doing Fire World again. But for me, the world being random generated and me just going through each of these dungeons slightly different than last time, that's enough for me. You know, like that's all that it takes for me to feel satisfaction. And so with YouTube, it's kind of the same thing. Like there's definitely parts within my YouTube career where I felt like burnt out or needed to take a break, or in the past times when I did consider quitting the platform and just getting a normal 9-to-5 stable job. A lot of that has to do with the fact that my paycheck fluctuates extremely. Like that's probably one of the scariest parts of YouTube, is that you almost are always chasing that paycheck. You know, and I'm not really at the point where I can just be like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie and stuff, where I just put out a video every now and then, or even just a single video a day of whatever game I feel like at the time. And I'm not necessarily complaining about that. That would be the dream. In the long run, I would love it if I could end up having the opportunity that those guys do, where they can not only put, you know, 100% of themselves into a single video instead of having to stretch it out, you know? But anyways, I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic here. The point that I'm getting at is everything feels different every single time. And even though it can end up getting stressful, kind of chasing that at all times, that's where, you know, I talked about earlier in the video where I made the decision to focus more on what I enjoyed about the platform and stuff. And so now, like, I'm very, very content with where my content is right now, and I'm very, very happy with it. You know, whether or not the views fluctuate and whether or not my paycheck fluctuates, it's like I try not to worry about that, you know, out of sight, out of mind. The only reason it's coming up is because, like I mentioned, in October we've got a condo that we're purchasing, as well as our wedding, which is going to be very expensive. But in the end, I think we'll be fine. So hopefully that ended up answering your question. So Tin Canaroni asks, will you ever make a setup tour for 2022 or 2023? So here's the thing. I'll ask you guys right now, do you guys want to see a setup tour right now, or would you rather wait until I'm in the condo? Because not much has changed with my setup. Like a few things have changed with my setup, but not much from my last video from a couple years ago. And so for me, I actually did record a setup tour video, like a more recent one. And I just never justified getting around to editing it or uploading it because I just keep thinking, well, I'm just going to end up doing a new one like in a couple months. So what's the point, right? I'm not against putting a setup tour video up. It's just, I just don't know how much the demand is for it. I mean, I guess if somebody's asking for it, I guess I could just do the video and then I could just do another updated one at some point. So yeah, okay, setup tour, I'll try and have that out this week. Majd says, what do you think about Trove's future? I think it's good, honestly speaking. GameAgo has been doing, where is this dungeon? GameAgo's been doing a fantastic job with Trove, dude, like legit. I think a lot of people still are under the assumption that Trove is like, oh, it's a dead game, it's not going anywhere or anything like that, or oh, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a very old way of thinking because that obviously had to do with how Tryon Worlds was approaching the game and so on and so forth. But for those of you that don't know, Tryon Worlds was the company that created Trove. They went bankrupt because of a lot of really stupid decisions. And ultimately, we've got GameAgo in charge of the game. And I was very, very worried, okay, what's going to happen to Trove? Oh, God. But so far, GameAgo has been continually pouring more and more resources into Trove's development. And we've got some of the best updates that we've ever gotten with the game, you know, like the most recent one being the Sunrise update, which ended up, you know, giving us U11 and crystal gems and stuff. And it's awesome. Sophie23 asking, how's the wedding prep going? So yeah, this is something that I don't necessarily get too much, you know, I don't talk about too much in the videos. There's a lot. There's a lot to it that I think a lot of people don't understand until you're getting married yourself. You know, because we have to basically set everything up ourselves. We're not hiring a wedding planner because obviously that's just very expensive and that's just more money going towards it. So we've got the venue set up, you know, we have the cake set up and everything. We got the flowers set up, and generally speaking today, I'm trying to get this Trove video out to you guys nice and quick because we got a lot more things that we need to do. It's most of all like a lot of behind the scenes, like, you know, responding to emails, sending out messages, letting people know what the plans are and so on. And then also going to like, okay, we gotta go to a printing store so that we can print out these little cards and get this ready and that ready. And there's just so many layers to the whole situation, you know, which we have a lot of it done, but it's just kind of a thing that I feel is just gonna keep going, you know? So to answer your question, it's going good. It's just there's a lot to it. Like I feel like it's very, very stressful right now. It's gonna all be worth it. Like I already know that for, you know, without a doubt, it's going to end up being an amazing time and definitely something that's worth all of the time investment. But yeah, it kind of sucks at the same time. Insert name here says, what's your favorite game currently, and congrats on 200K. That's a good question, because you're not asking about my favorite game for this year. I will have a game of the year video for sure, but what would be my favorite game right now? I guess the game that I'm enjoying the most right now at the moment would be Tower of Fantasy, because it's so new. just like I know in September when we get The Last of Us remake, that's going to be my favorite game for a little while, you know? Like that's kind of how it works. Is my favorite game is just subjective to when did it come out and how much am I enjoying it, and I'm very, very picky with the games that I end up playing nowadays. So I purposefully will pick games that I know, oh, I know I'm gonna enjoy this one, you know what I mean? But otherwise, I guess unless you're asking like a general what's your favorite game, honestly, Elden Ring is one of the big games that's still on the mind right now that I just keep thinking about. I can't justify playing it anymore because I literally played that game to death and have done everything that I could possibly do in it. But my God, what an experience, dude. Tanok asking, could you do more class guides for Trove? Which I hear you guys, I do. So here's the plan. I've talked about this during live streams. I haven't talked about it in a Let's Play episode. I know you guys want to end up having class guides for everything. And I know that I could very easily get away with doing specific class guides, like on every single character and so on and so forth. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to do that in the future, but as of right now, I've just been frankly way too busy to focus on those types of videos. And the plan is that I'm going to be doing a general class guide video. So think of it more as here's the best options for Trove kind of thing, you know. Like I basically I'm trying to finish up a graph that's gonna basically show you very to the point, okay, this class has 5 bars in speed, this class has 5 bars in boss finding kind of thing. I'm trying to make it very intuitive so that I can then end up having a video that'll come out explaining how that graph works, and then you could just download that and then just use that as a point of reference to know where each of the different classes ends up fitting in terms of its end game capabilities, right? So that's kind of been my main goal and excuse why I haven't worked on any more class guides, okay? On top of that, I know that a lot of you guys are asking, well, now that you're 45K on Shadowhunter, where's the 45K series? Which is coming, but I'm 45K on my Shadowhunter. I'm not necessarily going to be 45K on my other classes just because I don't have like C4 gear on every character and stuff like that. Anyways, that's a completely separate topic, but my point is, long story short, it's all coming, okay? Exodus Ghoul says, are you planning on doing a free-to-play account with Trove? No, I already had my free-to-play Let's Play series on my alt account, and frankly speaking, it was stretching my playtime thin. And even though I would say like the only reason that I ended up doing that alternate account in the first place is because obviously there was the demand for it. You guys really want to see that. But I don't, you know, I'm not the type of person that has much desire to start a game from the beginning. I like investing in one character and staying with it. And so for me, you know, I've got a lot of personal memories tied to this specific game account and so on and so forth. And so I just don't really have the desire to. But on top of that, the main reason I had that series in the first place was because there was a drought of content. However, Trove does not have that lack of content right now, and so there's not really much reason for me to end up going back to it. Like, just on a personal level, I have no desire. Our folksy saying, what's the story behind naming Gonda JubJub? I don't know. It was pretty random. So as far as I remember, I'm trying to, it was a long time ago. So there was this game called Happy Wars a long time ago, and I remember playing it with friends, and there was this random player that we saw because, you know, this game was basically dead. The servers were going offline. We just randomly got into the game and started having an absolute blast playing it. And there just so happened to be a very small amount of people playing the game at the time, right? And there was a player that was called JubJub, and I don't know why. I just thought that was just such a stupid, like, hilarious name that for some reason it just stuck with me. And then to give you a little bit of extra trivia on top of Gonda being JubJub and stuff, you know, when I ended up getting Gonda, you know, I had my Gonda video where I just kept saying JubJub, yes, Gonda, and stuff over and over again. And, you know, I was in the the call with the guys. I think we were using Razer comms at the time because we didn't use Discord yet. Discord kind of sucked. It got a lot better over the years, but yeah. And And so anyways, it just kind of stuck. And then when they ended up having Yabaki, which is the Shadow Gonda, you know, what's the opposite of JubJub? Buzz, right? And then long story short, that's what I ended up naming my pugs. So yeah, it's crazy how much, you know, how this random turn of events ended up turning into this lifelong thing. Kareem Taban says, when will you overthrow the world's superpowers and finally claim your throne as the reptilian overlord? Yes, I still have a plan of doing a video of my reptilian heritage and how I was already overthrown once before. See, most reptilians are very secretive about the fact that they're reptilians. I'm very open with it because we got to fight the power, and one day I will consume my dark brother who ended up overthrowing me, and I will consume his power by eating him. So let's just say, you know, to my reference earlier about, you know, dreaming of being a big time YouTuber like Markiplier and stuff, that would probably be when we, when I can overthrow the other reptilians. So help. Gibby Daddy says, have you ever seen a ghost? I don't know, probably. I don't really, like, it's weird because it's like, I don't really believe in ghost stuff, but I do believe that there is an energy around certain things, and I do feel like, well, if something bad ends up happening in this situation, in a specific area, there might be like an evil energy tied to it. Like, there's definitely places I've gone to in real life where it's like, oh damn, this place is haunted, yo. You know what I mean? But I'm not a very superstitious person. I'm quite the opposite, and so I think that kind of happened because my family, you know, growing up is very spiritual. So I think that I kind of took the polar opposite of that. It's weird how that works. Actually, you know what? Let me answer that question again. Have you ever seen a ghost? Yeah, every time I look in the mirror, because of how gosh darn pale and white I am, because that's that Irish blood in me, dude. Like, I do not tan, I burn. Void Linux asking, how tall are you? I'm like 7 feet tall on a good day. But on average, I'm only like 5'10". I'm just normal height. And then lemon_cake is our last question for today, asking why the name, which I assume is them asking, you know, why Scyushi. So I know that this can end up being a thing that a lot of people are confused about when they come to the channel. I actually have videos specifically talking about the name change and also talking about like why I kind of started swearing in my videos, because back in the day I used to be 100% family friendly. Nowadays I try to I tried to play towards the audience of the game itself. So with Trove, I try my best not to, you know, have super harsh swearing and stuff like that. Sometimes, you know, I'll slip during live streams, but generally speaking, it's like I know that this game has a younger audience. And so that's kind of why, even though with my Fortnite videos, it was lots and lots of swearing at first, because that's organic me. I swear a lot. But then I thought, it's Fortnite, it's little kids playing this game, so maybe I shouldn't be swearing as much, you know? Anyways, my favorite is when I'm playing a game that is also mature. So again, referencing Last of Us Remake, when that comes out in September, I'm going to be allowed to swear up a storm because the game is going to do that for me. Anyways, that's besides the point. The question was why the name. So my actual name is Scythe. That's my actual legal name, so Scythe Plays, which was what my channel used to be called, makes sense, you know. Honestly speaking, I probably shouldn't have swapped my username or anything like that, but to me it was kind of like, it was just using my real name, so it was like slightly cringe to me. I just always felt like it's like, Scythe Plays, and you know, I also wanted the opportunity of later down the line I might do vlogs and stuff like that, and so that would be a bit weird to end up having vlogs for Scythe Plays, Scythe Plays vlogs, you know. I don't know what my weird thought process was behind it all, but I thought, okay, let's just come up with a nickname. So Scy is what people call me in real life, you know, that's what my family and friends always call me. And then Ushi is just quite literally because I love sushi. It's that simple. Anyways, dear Lord, I was not expecting this, I wasn't expecting this video to end up being this long, but I guess it kind of just did. So yeah, the reason why I'm kind of like, oh, is because I decided that I wasn't going to do a live stream today because I wanted to end up just doing a shorter video. And now this is going to take as long, if not longer, than a live stream, because I have to edit it and render it and then upload it all at once instead of just doing an hour-long live stream. So yeah, I guess I'll just get to that. Let me see really quick, just in case you guys are curious. Okay, we ended up getting quite a bit of gem boxes, so let's level these up, or you know, let's get all these gems ready, and then I'll show you guys the results. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 fire gems, and then managed to get pretty lucky on the random boxes, so that's pretty cool. The trick that we're gonna do, I talked about in my gem guide video. I'm basically just going to end up using the happy whatever UI, I forget what it's called, but I'm gonna not use any of my gem boosters, and I'm gonna level up these gems to 25, because when I loot collect them, I'm going to end up getting more gem sparks back than the amount of gem dust equivalent that I used to level up the gem in the first place, unless I get really unlucky. But hopefully we'll be able to get a bunch of oh god, that was unlucky. Dear lord, there was 50k gem dust just down the drain. Thankfully I still have a bunch of gem sparks that I can convert, but my god, dude. So even though that was maybe 3 gem sparks used, a little bit under, let's say 2.5 worth of gem dust, we're getting 4 back. So it was worth it. Man, I gotta tell you, dude, I'm getting really unlucky with my gems. Like, look at this, dude. Look at this gem dust just dwindle down. Dang, dude. Just right at the end, we just got it, but oof. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to level up any of my gems because I don't think I got enough gem sparks. Yeah, no, I didn't. So, I mean, we got a lot of fire gem sparks for sure. Yeah, actually, yeah, what am I thinking? That's the only ones I went for. So, yeah, we ended up getting quite a decent amount. I should have actually showed you guys how much we had before, but I'm pretty sure it was these lower numbers that I had on all the other elements because I spent all of my gem dust. So we could make a gem spark or prism right here and then try to level up a gem. However, that would take all of my water gem sparks, and I don't have much water gem dust right now. So I wouldn't recommend ever doing something like that. You don't want to end up using all of your gem dust because then otherwise you won't be able to level up any of your crystal gems. But anyways, that's going to do it for me today, gamers. Hopefully you found this video entertaining. I don't know. It was a more personal video. We don't get to talk in much detail with all of this stuff. You know, I kind of like to break the fourth wall sometimes, and I felt that it was appropriate, and I'm very content with this video. That said, our next one's probably just gonna be like a live stream or just more fun stuff or whatever, but this will probably be, well, it's gonna be the only Trove video today, and then I'll probably try and get a multiverses video out today that's focusing on the new season or something, but I gotta edit that. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. Smash like, stuff for more, buy the merch you want, support the channel, and have a wonderful day, everybody.